Welcome to the first episode of the Totally Content podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Matt Eaton, and we have Elisabeth Knulst. We have lived and breathed content all our careers. Me in film and television broadcast, and Elisabeth in marketing and branding. Hi, Elisabeth.
So, hi, I'm Elisabeth, and Matt, you are the co-founder of Evolve, and you support organizations in their digital transformation with a little bit of a specialism in broadcasting, if I may say so. And I think you're doing a very fine job at that.
Why, thank you, Elisabeth. And I should add that, Elisabeth, you're a business consultant with over 20 years of experience in marketing operations across pretty much all the sectors, retail, banking, automotive, publishing, consumer goods, telecoms, and advertising. We've called our podcast Totally Content. Elisabeth, why is that?
As you say, totally content, or is it totally content? What we really want to do during our podcast series is investigate all the things related to content and provide an in-depth knowledge and insight for people with content in the business area. So this is not only opportunities or inspiration, but really learn from experts with the goal of making people totally content about content. We know that a few organizations are actually totally content with the way content is managed, but this is not always the case. And actually, I may say so. Usually, it's not that people are very happy about the way things are going. So by content, we mean everything that is conveyed through a medium, and it can be images and text and video and audio documents and so on. Important to notice is that content often makes an emotional connection with the audience. So it's really about storytelling, stories about the brands that we care about and the brands that we love, but also the stories from an episode. We place our trust in the content, and that is extremely important with the developments that we currently see in the market. So we have to make sure that we can rely on the content and that we also can be wary of content from others. So interestingly, with all new technologies available, we also see that content is everywhere and it follows us around in our pocket, in the train, in the living rooms, in the streets. It's massive, it's plentiful, it's varied, and it's appealing. And interestingly, more money is spent today on one episode of a blockbuster on one of the streaming platforms than an entire budget of a movie 20 years ago. So I may say, I think we are living through a content revolution. With all this in mind, isn't it important how we manage content as well, Matt?
Absolutely. And how we manage content involves people, process, and technology working in combination to get the content from the concept to the audience. This has not always kept pace with the revolution in content consumption that you mentioned, Elisabeth. Content involves a variety of processes, as you know, from production, distribution, management before it's consumed. Increasingly personalization as well, and how you monetize that content. It needs people with the right skill sets, and it needs departments working together, because the skill sets can often not be found in a single individual. And depending on the type of content you're managing, there's a bewildering array of tooling out in the marketplace, with lots of abbreviations from PIM to DAM to MAM to CMS. We'll be exploring those abbreviations, what they mean, where they fit in as part of the podcast. And then, of course, there's the data management regarding content, which can be metadata, taxonomies, all the way to governance and rights. And we should also mention, AI, machine learning as well. That's going to become increasingly important as part of content management. Bringing all these disciplines together is tremendously complex and challenging. And most often it can drive people totally crazy.
And that is absolutely true. Being around in the market, we see that people are totally crazy instead of totally content. So, what we want to look at are the good, the bad, and the ugly of content management from the broadcast and from the marketing perspective. So, from all angles, make sure that we cover everything. This includes the old school people process technology, which we have done for many decades. But we now also want to make sure that we look at monetization and data management around content. We will try to find out how to get organized and inspire the audience with new insights, tell us about our experiences, and of course, find the industry experts. So we ultimately make sure that people are totally content. So, Matt, why do you think people should listen to our podcast?
Well, as you say, we're living through a content revolution. There's never been more content, more money spent on content, or more platforms to distribute content to. Firstly, businesses need to constantly evolve to stay relevant to customers, to take advantage of technical advances, and to stay ahead of competitors. Secondly, the way content is consumed, produced, and distributed has changed and is continuing to change at pace. Thirdly, the traditional dam systems that took 3 years to implement and all the processes that went along with that are struggling to support many of the new business requirements. And it is often too costly and complex to integrate with other systems. And lastly, the traditional scope of digital asset management systems and processes to maintain control of and to access digital assets is being challenged by an ever-changing content supply chain. So, Elisabeth, what do we hope to cover in this podcast series?
So, each episode, we will be interviewing a different guest who has a specific perspective on content. And it can be someone representing a studio, to sports, to brand, or to broadcasters. What we want to make sure is that we get a 360-degree view on content, production, creation, distribution. We want to make sure that we explore all the opportunities for having good content, what the impact is of bad content, provide some inspirations and learn from the experts. Again, making sure that people are totally content with their content. One of the things that I'm really looking forward to is that we will ask our guests each week if they could be granted one wish to make the management of content easier, what that wish would be. So, Matt, where can people hear the episodes?
Well, we'll be posting them on the Totally Content website, and you can subscribe to the episodes via all your usual podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google, etc. We'll also be posting the latest episodes on LinkedIn. We hope you will join us for the next episode of Totally Content, where we will try and explore how you can become totally content.